Well, I got into racing through my father. So I was pretty much born into the sport. My father started as a jockey, and then he became a trainer about 35 years ago. So I've been coming to the track since I was a baby. There's actually a photo of me in the winner's circle at Santa Anita when I'm only a few months old. The older I got, when I was in college, I just really got involved with my father's horses, following them. He started to get better horses, so I would travel with him, and a spark was just in me that really loved the sport. So for me, it was really ingrained in me since I was a child. What is my favorite angle? This is gonna make you laugh, but it has proven time and time again that it works. First time gelding. I know, as funny as that sounds. So first time gelding, you will see a horse drastically improve first time gelding. And there's certain trainers that, especially with the amount of time that they've been given since the horse has been gelded, I have seen horses finish last in their race prior and they'll come back and win. It is an angle for me that you can absolutely never overlook.
What's up, Giants and Jets fans? Welcome to week 8 of the NFL season. And Dave, welcome back into the studio. It feels so good to be here.
This is the way it's supposed to be.
Right? Finally, we're doing the thing. And you're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. We're so excited you're with us. He's the handicapper, Dave Weaver. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney. And yes, we are finally in our Los Angeles studio, getting you ready for all the action this weekend. And as always, we are joined by the rest of our sports betting experts. The team is here to help you make some money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. That's why they're here. Plug in that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it is legal, and it's so much fun. So let's get this party started. I'm ready, he's ready, they're ready, you're ready, and we are kicking things off with the Giants coming off that 1-point loss on Thursday Night Football in Philly. New York back in the national spotlight, hosting the Bucs on Monday Night Football. Giants offense ranks in the bottom 5 in rushing, passing, and points. Giants fans are like, you don't need to tell me that. The offense keeps loading up, though, with these Bucs. This week, the team signing wide receiver Antonio Brown. He will not be able to play this weekend until his suspension is over. That, again, finishes this weekend, so he is back for next week. But Andrew Filipponi, we won't see Brown in this game. The Giants are getting 10.5 points at home. Question is, can they keep it close enough to cover? What do you think?
Well, first of all, Dave, you look good in studio. I think the camera's actually subtracted pounds, maybe 10 or 15. You look outstanding. I like the Giants here. And, Dave, I'm going to make this pick, and it's right in your wheelhouse. The extensive research before the show, just for you and for our viewers. The best bet in the NFL over the last 20 years has been the double-digit home underdog. In fact, they're covering at a 60% rate. And if you even look at this year, last week, the Jets covered at home against the Bills. The week before, the Eagles covered at home against the Ravens. I think this trend continues. It's been a great bet historically. The Giants plus 10.5.
Well, here's a contradictory stat against your research, which was nice, by the way. But if you just exclusively look at Tom Brady and how he does as a double-digit road favorite. When Brady is favored by 10 or more on the road, he has covered 5 in a row, and he's covering those games or winning those games by about 25 points. He will dissect the Giants early and game manage this game late. I think Tom Brady laying points on the road is a good thing. So I'm going to go completely opposite you here, Pony.
Oh, we're starting off with a research battle. I love it. Great stuff, guys. Time now for the right take. So let's get out to Chicago. Bring in our NFL expert now, Cole Wright with Marquee Sports Network, of course, formerly with NFL Network. Cole, you heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning and by how many points?
Well, Lisa, I think it's a safe assumption that the Bucs, they're trending up. They've won 5 of the last 6, and the Giants, they're currently on the downswing. Big Blue, as we know, they're winless versus teams with a top 10 scoring defense. And Tampa, plain and simple, they're top 8. Now, the Giants, they've allowed far too many sacks, 20 if you're scoring at home. And Tampa Bay, they're second in the league right now with 25. And then there's the Tampa offense. We know they're firing on all cylinders. Rob Gronkowski, he's found the end zone in each of the last 2 wins. And Tom Brady, he's starting to get all those receivers involved. And Lisa, as you said, no Antonio Brown this week, but Bruce Arians, he said that AB looks great. So I think this is going to be an easy Bucs win here. AB is going to be providing some morale, 34-9. That's how I see this one shaking out.
All right, Cole, thank you. We'll speak to you again in just a moment. Giants fans, you are getting points at home in this one. So if you roll with the G-Men, a winning $50 bet on New York means you're going to collect more than $95. FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Moving on now to the Jets. 0-7 on the season, guys. They're on the road here in Week 8. Not just away from home, Dave, but at Arrowhead to face the Kansas City Chiefs. This one, a mismatch on the field, of course. But take a look at this betting line, right? You can see it right here. Dave, the Jets are getting 19.5 points. It's the biggest spread we have seen all season. Given that number, which side do you like?
Okay, I'm going to speak in ponies terms here and speak historically with these big lines. Since 1978, that's when Pro Football Research started adding point spreads into their database, there have been 16 teams that have been favored by 19 points or more. Only 3 of those have covered. And the average score in those 16 games, Pony, is 29-14. So what happens is these teams that are just dominant get a little bit lazy. They know that they are going to win this game by a couple of touchdowns, but they typically don't win by 40 or 50 points. So expect the Jets to keep this game closer than most people think.
Yeah, I'll do a deeper dive on that, Dave. I'm going to pick up right where you left off. I'll take the Jets, too. It's only happened, these 19-point numbers, 3 times in the last 15 years. 2 of them were in 2007 with the undefeated Patriots, and one of them was 5 years ago when the Super Bowl champion Broncos hosted the Jaguars. And recent trends, not going all the way back to the 70s, but the last 3 times it's happened, the underdog is covered every time. In fact, Patriots-Eagles against a backup quarterback, Adam Vinatieri needed a last-second field goal to help New England win that game. So I'm with you on this one, Dave. I'm going to take the Jets covering the big number.
Playing nice in studio. I love it, guys. Jets fans, if you bet on your team and take those points, a lot of points, by the way, you're going to collect more than $93 on a winning $50 bet. And you guys know how we roll. We are just getting started on our Week 8 breakdowns. More game previews coming up in just a few minutes, including picks for the Sunday night and Monday night matchup. Sunday night matchup between the Cowboys and Eagles, That's coming up in just about 10 minutes. Of course, we got to get to the guy that sets all these lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Joining us now, the odds maker himself, John Sheeran. Sheeran, we just talked about the spreads for the Chiefs-Jets game. Almost 3 touchdowns on this line. How did you land on that number? And does it give you pause, giving an NFL team, even the Jets sitting there at 0-7, almost 20 points in this game?
Absolutely, Lisa. I think basically things have to be really bad for you to hang a 20 spot on any team in the NFL. These are professional footballers. We don't see spreads like this very often. The guys have given you some numbers. In the last 25 years, there's been 6 favorites of 20 points or more. They've gone 1-5 against the spread. So a really difficult number for people to cover. I think the challenge with it from our perspective is fundamentally just trying to almost dismiss your ratings to some degree, because 21 is where we opened this. That's where the ratings told us the line should be. But I think we all knew that that was too big. We've already seen it trend down to 19.5, Lisa. Our job is to find the closing line as fast as we possibly can. I still think that's too high. The 2 guys have given their opinion on the game and think that the Jets is the right way to go. I do too. I think there's so many ways they can backdoor cover this game that we'll see this trend continually down, probably to somewhere in the realms of 17 points, I would think, come kickoff.
Yeah, and to Dave's point, the Jets are 4-1 in their last 5 against teams with winning records. I saw that on the screen. Thank you, Sharon. Great perspective. John, of course, sets the lines of the FanDuel Sportsbook. And Jets and Giants fans, this is your personal invitation to join us for all the games this weekend. The FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands is across the parking lot from MetLife Stadium. We know you cannot be in the stadium right now, but you can be at the Meadowlands in the Sportsbook with us. Dozens of TVs, table service, food, drink, of course, live sports betting on all of your favorite teams and players. You got to mask up, keep your distance, everyone's staying safe. Enjoy your NFL Sunday with us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. We look forward to welcoming you. Let's keep it moving on this show. Of course, you can also place your bets on the app right now. So let's do that by putting some math to our money. Get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros. Ed, huge matchup in Baltimore. That's one of the lines that you think needs to be exposed this week. So bring it to us. What is it?
First off, I look so larger than life in studio. That's so cool. I love this total between the Steelers and Ravens at 46.5. Reputationally, it should be a defensive masterpiece. But I'm expecting something a little bit different here. Ben Roethlisberger has the shortest time to throw of any quarterback in the NFL at at 2.29 seconds. And a shorter time is actually a good thing because the faster you get rid of the ball, the less likely you are to be sacked or pressured. It's led to a 67.9% completion percentage. That's seventh highest in football. Lamar Jackson naturally going to have a longer time to throw because of his running ability. He's tied for fifth longest at 3 seconds, but he makes up for that with the seventh longest average depth of target at 9.4 yards. His completion percentage over expected is great. Second highest behind Russell Wilson at 6.6. So you're pitting the dynamic Lamar Jackson against an undefeated Big Ben who may get Deontay Johnson for this contest. I think this game gets into the 50s. I'm taking the over.
Well, I'm going to fade you here. He will get Deontay Johnson back yet. I can confirm that. My thing in this game, though, is we're talking about long, sustaining drives that are going to eat up a lot of clock. So even if touchdowns aren't going to get scored, I don't see quick hitting 50, 60, 70-yard, one-play, big plays against either one of these top 5 defenses. Baltimore's number 1 in scoring defense. Pittsburgh's in the top 5. So that's why I'm going to take the under.
Tony, another game that I think has some good value here is New Orleans giving 4.5 on the road at Chicago. This line has been moving in the Saints' favor pretty much all week long. Both teams underwhelmed in their last matchups last week. Saints have more reason for optimism, though. Drew Brees has mastered short throws and conducting a methodical passing game. His average depth of target is shallowest at 6 yards to throw among all qualifying quarterbacks. Not having Michael Thomas has been devastating. His percentage share of teams' air yards over the last seasons rank among all NFL receivers first last year, 16th in 2018, and 5th in 2017. It is Michael Thomas in New Orleans, or it's nothing. Chicago has a similar relationship with Allen Robinson. He leads his team in target share at 28%. Few receivers, I think, should move the line that much, but when it comes to Chicago and New Orleans, I think those are the only 2 exceptions in the NFL. And it looks like Michael Thomas may have a better opportunity to play Allen Robinson in concussion protocol, so I think the Saints can cover 4.5 here.
Oh, it's the fade Ed segment here. Nobody likes you this morning, Ed. I'm going to go against you. I'm going with the home dog here, the Bears. You know, the Saints are getting out of the dome, coming into the Windy City. It's supposed to be windy, by the way, Sunday afternoon. Probably going to be 15-mile-an-hour winds. I think it's going to make it difficult for the Saints offense to really do what they want to do. And the Saints have barely been winning the games that they have been winning. I think they might squeak by a field goal, but I'm going to take the points.
Okay, and a reminder, the Bears could be without Allen Robinson, who's been in concussion protocol, as Ed just mentioned. He's been there this week, but they are getting points at home right now, 4.5. If you like Chicago in this spot, hey, Tail Dave, place a winning $50 bet. You're going to collect more than $95. And remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out all the Week 8 lines available for you right now. New users, again, use that promo code. It's right there on your screen. More Ways 1000 when you sign up for your new account. And for all of you new users, welcome, New Jersey. We are so excited to have you with us, and we take care of our family, right, Dave? Our family and our friends. So we're going to kind of break this whole thing down, get to our 101 segment here. I call it a special fist bump for all of you that are new to sports betting. Dave, we've talked about spreads. We've talked about money line bets. We've talked about total wagers as well. Let's just take a second here to explain what those are, first of all, and then just give us your best bet for each of those here in Week 8.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these terms that we've been mentioning. Now, the spread. Let's start with the Broncos game. Now, I actually like the underdog in this game. You see the spread there. The Chargers are a 3-point favorite. So if you like the Chargers, they have to win by 4 or more. I'm going to take the 3 points. So I'm betting the Broncos to lose by less than 3, which is kind of weird. I think they're going to win the game, but there's one team in the NFL that has lost more games by 2 points in the last couple of years. It's the Broncos. So I'm liking that they can lose by 1 or 2, and I still cover that spread. Now, let's talk about the money line. The money line, there is no spread. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 or you win by 100. You're just trying to win the game. I'm going to go to the Baltimore Ravens. But you see there, minus 200 means you have to bet $200 to win 100. So it's a little bit more expensive, but you don't have to worry about winning by the 3.5. So
you're just literally taking a winner.
So as long as the Ravens
win the game,
even if by a field goal, they don't cover the spread, but they win the money line. Flip side of that is the Steelers are plus 168, which means if they win, you only have to bet 100 to win 168. But I'm betting the Ravens. Now let's talk about the total. Very simple. You're adding up the 2 teams at the end of the game, the points. So let's go to Cincinnati and Tennessee. Big one, by the way, 53.5 points. But I like the over. Cincinnati quietly has scored 27 or more points in 4 of their games this year, 30 points in 3 of their games. So, I mean, a lot of people think that all the offense is going to come from Tennessee in this game, but Cincinnati's going to contribute. I like the over.
Even on that big number,
Even on
like
that
the
number.
over. I love it. Thank you, Dave. All right, there you go, New Jersey. Plenty of spread, money line, total bets are all available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Also, a ton of fun parlays and props, alternate lines for those of you that have been at this for quite some time. Check it all out. The party's there for everybody. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Right now, it is time to talk daily fantasy and how you can turn just about $4 into $1 million. Yes, back up that truck. Enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com and on the app right now. Of course, our job is to help you win that $1 million. So we're hooking you up with the best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zacharyson in-house with his best values for Week 8. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa, my first value this week is Rashard Higgins of the Cleveland Browns, who's only $5,500. There's no OBJ in that lineup. He tore his ACL. He's done for the year. In comes Rashard Higgins, who had a 21% target share this past week. He caught 6 passes, 110 yards. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for this Browns offense moving forward, and he gets a plus matchup this week against Vegas. So I like Rashard Higgins at his price point of $5,500. And I also like Myles Gaskin, who's $5,700. We've got a new quarterback for Miami, so there is some volatility there, but Gaskin has seen almost 15% of Miami's targets this year, and over his last 4 games, he's seen over 71% of Miami's running back rushes. Those are really good numbers for a back that's priced at $5,700. And even though this matchup might look tough on paper, the Rams defense has been very average against opposing running backs in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed, so I like Gaskin at this price point. And then finally, there's T. Higgins. He's only $6,000. Since week 3, Higgins has seen a 20% target share in this Cincinnati Bengals offense. He gets Tennessee, a plus matchup. I really like him and this scoring environment in that Bengals-Titans game. So play T. Higgins here in week 8.
Awesome. Love it. You always rock it. Thank you, JJ. For you all, make sure you use JJ's info for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Again, only about $4 to enter. There is a prize pool of $2.5 million. The winner taking home $1 million. It's FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app. And of course, there's even more money to be had, y'all. The Sunday Million, just one of many daily fantasy games offered at FanDuel.com. And on the app, of course, there are also a bunch of free DFS contests that you can enter right now. Just log on to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. Sign up for your chance to win cash and prizes for free with our daily contests. They're available each and every week. So right now it's time to pile them up and watch them pay. Let's bet some same game parlays, guys, where you can combine multiple bets from one game. Check it out. Of course, the bet itself is self-explanatory. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet as you combine your wagers for the same game. Now, the FanDuel Sportsbook was the first to offer this great feature for NFL wagers, so it is smooth and it is so easy with us. FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of the season. So got to take advantage of that, guys. Let's place those $10 bets and get creative here. Give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. And Dave, you're sitting 6 feet away from me. I'm coming right to you first. Dave, what's your same game parlay bet? Where are you putting those $10?
We're going to take you to Buffalo, where it is supposed to be windy, and that means that these teams are not going to be able to pass the ball. They're going to run the ball a lot. That means the clock is going to be running throughout the game. So I'm going to get tricky here. I'm going to play the under in the first quarter, the under in the second quarter, and the under in the third quarter. I don't care what happens in the fourth quarter. They can score as many touchdowns as they want, but punts and field goals in the first 3 quarters for me, $10 would win me about $70 if all 3 of those quarters go under.
Yeah, I'm going to the Browns and Raiders here for my same game parlay. You see a lot going on the screen here. Just know this, it's really in Baker's hands. 5 touchdowns last week, 136 passer rating. This is a Vegas defense that gave up 4 scores to Tom Brady. You put those 3 things together at the bottom of your screen, $10 risk-free collects over $54.
Titans and Bengals. Do not read too much into last week. Tennessee is the second best team in the AFC, and they are due for positive regression to the mean against the Bengals. I have Tennessee winning this by 7, maybe 8. So that 5.5-point spread looks good, but I'll add away total points first half over 15.5. I will profit nearly $17 with my $10 bet at both ends.
Awesome stuff, guys. You can tail one of our guys or, hey, build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of a risk-free $10 bet. Just click on the game that you like, hit the same-game parlay tab, and just watch your odds increase. Be creative like our guys and have tons of fun. All right, we hit the Monday night game earlier in the show. Now let's focus on the Sunday night matchup. We've got the Cowboys at the Eagles, excuse me. A huge NFC East matchup here in the division. Dave, that is wide open. These two teams coming off emotional weeks. We got the Eagles riding high after that last-second win against the Giants. Cowboys coming off a blowout loss in Washington where they lost backup quarterback Andy Dalton to a concussion. So, Pony, I'm bringing you in here because the Cowboys ride into this matchup with, I don't know, maybe a rookie 7th-rounder under center. We got Ben DiNucci out of James Madison. Pony, Dallas is getting 8.5 points here on the road. Who do you like? What do you make of this matchup?
Well, I'm very, preferential to Ben because he grew up listening to my radio show, which ages me. He's a Pittsburgh kid. Got a lot of respect for him in this journey he's on. And I like Dallas, and it's not a homer take for DiNucci. It's because Carson Wentz, he only has one game this year, Dave, where he's produced a passer rating over 90. He's been, for the most part, a below-average quarterback. And look at that number. Now he's got to cover more than a touchdown in a division rivalry game. I'm going to take Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas has been good lately against Philadelphia, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 matchups. And this is a team, the Eagles, that are just not reliable as a big favorite in the spot. So I'm with you. Nothing like betting American currency on Ben DiNucci. Although Dalton still may go, we'll see. But we'll see if Ben can get it done. And Lisa, that was a very nice way of saying that the division stinks by saying it's wide open. I mean, that division is terrible.
Two-win team that's saying, like, hey, we could get to the playoffs. We could do this thing. And by the way, Ben DiNucci had more fantasy points for owners than Cam Newton did last week. Fantasy fact right there. Bonus info.
Wouldn't have to be much.
All right, let's get back to our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, for his take. Cole, you heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning and by how many points on Sunday night?
Well, Lisa, like Dave said, the division not very good. So let's just call this the nobody wants to win the division bowl. I mean, it's hard to really pick a winner here considering the mess that both of these teams are in. Now, Dallas, they can take the division lead with the win on Sunday Night Football, despite that defense that couldn't stop a leaky faucet. They're dead last in scoring defense, rushing defense, turnovers. And then you have their DC, Mike Nolan, up there at post-game press conferences rubbing Tabasco sauce in his eye. That pretty much sums up the Cowboys season. Meanwhile, Philly's defense, that's what's going to give them the edge in this one. They're just outside the top 10 in total defense. And Jim Schwartz's unit, they found a way to apply pressure to opposing quarterbacks. They're tied for 4th in sacks. So I see Philly with a runaway win here, 21-10. Eagles, they're going to fly to victory.
Thanks, Cole. Opposing stats and logic there. You guys decide. If you like the Eagles giving the points, place a winning $50 bet on Philly. You're going to collect more than $95. Again, it's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Great stuff by those guys. John Sharon getting you back in here for your exclusive insight on the hottest bets right now at this FanDuel Sportsbook. Which teams are taking the most action for Week 8? I think we lost Sharon. We'll try to get back. We'll try to get him back. We'll effort that hottest bets there in just a moment. But right now, let's give some underdogs a little love. Let's get Cole back in here. Of course, betting on an underdog outright to win outright is going to get you some great value, Cole. A big payout. You have been crushing these money line moneymakers, by the way. Who's on your upset alert this week?
Well, it's been a gut punch for Baker Mayfield and the Browns. As if 2020 hasn't been hard enough. They're 5-2, and that's only good enough for 3rd place in the division. In the Rough Pumpkins, Lisa, I think they're going to keep on coming. Derek Carr, he's averaging close to 100 more passing yards per game than Baker Mayfield, so expect that trend to continue on Sunday. I see Las Vegas winning in this one, 24-17. And then, like you said, last week, well, I was 50-50 on the underdogs and the Detroit Lions. They came through for me as they took out those Atlanta Falcons, and they're going to do it again this week versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Detroit, they've won 3 of their last 4, and they're just happy to be home. Get this, 66% of their games, they've been away from Ford Field, and it's always better to sleep in your own bed. The Lions, they win this one in a close shave, 24-21, Lisa.
That's right. Bet 100 and win 126. Thank you, Cole. All right, gamblers, head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Take a look at the odds for each matchup. See if there's a money line bet that you like. And remember, as Cole said, picking an underdog means plus money. We all love that plus money. And you can make that moneyline bet or any bet on the app risk-free right now, up to $1,000. All you have to do is sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 just by using the promo code I've been talking about all show long. It's been on your screen. More ways, 1,000. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. And virtual high five for your pick last week. You have the Packers alternate line spread of minus 11.5 at Houston. $1,000 placed on that bet. Collected $3,600. So guys, let's just do it again. You have up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet here. Let's make our viewers that money. Dave, I'm coming to you first. What's your bet?
I'm going to Denver. You know, the Chargers are hot right now. Everybody's on the Justin Herbert bandwagon. But do they deserve to be favored on the road against a division rival? I don't think so. So I'm going to take the value in this game. The Broncos are plus 148 on the money line. I'm going to bet my $1,000 on them to win this game, and I'm going to get back nearly $2,500.
Oh, that's about the blandest, most plain pick you've ever made here in the risk-free segment. All right, Dave. I mean, let's go Denver. Hey, naturally, all eyes are on Cam Newton in this Patriots-Bills game here. But come on, Buffalo, they went 3 of 11 on third down against the Jets last week, and they didn't score a touchdown. So that's why I'm going to take in this game the over for New England to get there, and the Patriots, of course, +4 to cover the spread. Risk-free, 1,000. You're going to collect over 2,600.
Yeah, believing in Bill Belichick is also vanilla pony, just for the record. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to believe in a rookie quarterback making his NFL start in Tua Tagovailoa. More than comfortable betting Miami to cover, but with the Rams in a short week, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast for a 1 p.m. kickoff, and not facing an NFC East team or the Bears, I like the Dolphins to win this outright. I'm taking the Porpoises to win from 1 to 13 points. So my $1,000 risk-free bet scores me a total of $3,200.
Gotta have faith. Gamblers, make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. Remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, it's easy, it's legal, and it is live. Take your winnings if you hit. Just get your money back if you don't. All right, guys, let's get back to John Sheeran. I think he's back with us now. I was asking you, John, about the hottest bets that you're taking at the Sportsbook right now. Who's taking the most money here, the most action in Week 8?
Lisa, opposing the Jets was the easiest way to make money this season. But they now have the same record as the Green Bay Packers at 5-1. And not alone is the record 5-1, but they were also 5-1 against the spread, the same as the Jets. This week hasn't been any different. All of the money flowing in on the Green Bay Packers -7. Over 90% of the money, both on the spread and on the money line, is for Green Bay. I think we'll see a repeat of that kind of shootout that we saw in Week 1. And those bettors fully expecting to collect again on Green Bay. So that'll be for sure the most lopsided book we'll have this week.
Awesome, Sharon. Thank you. I'm glad we got back to Sharon. Love hearing what's going on at the Sportsbook right now. All right, guys, you know we're about a week away from one of horse racing's most prestigious events. It's the Breeders' Cup World Championships. The horses run on November 6th, 7th at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. This year, you can bet on all of the Breeders' Cup races right on your phone. Dave, this is very exciting. Download the FanDuel Racing app. And Dave, there's a special promotion for new users. So let's get into that.
Yeah, I mean, if you download the FanDuel Racing app, you download it, sign up for an account, you get a $50 match bonus on your deposit, and then you can bet the ponies. And I love betting the ponies. Horses from around the world are going to be coming to Kentucky next weekend to compete in the 2-day Breeders' Cup. So get in on the action, 100% deposit match up to $50.
And we're going to talk ponies more on this show next week as we get closer to the Breeders' Cup. You said that those horses have just been named, so we're going to get into all of that a little bit later on the show. All right, thanks for hanging with us today. I think that is a wrap, Dave. We made it. It is Week 8, and we are here in studio in Los Angeles. You've been watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. Of course, take our experts' tips. Make yourself some cash. It's why we're here. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's free. It's easy. It is legal. We've got extra love for our new users, Dave. I've been saying it all show long. What is the promo code?
Is that?
More Ways 1,000.
You know, it's said it 33 times during the show.
I've said it maybe more than that. All right, it's a risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's waiting for you. Follow us on Twitter, More Ways to Win TV, at Lisa Kerney, at Ice Cold Exacta. Thanks for hanging with us. Hey, guys, enjoy the games this week. Good luck with your bets. We'll be here next week.
TVG Monday. Catch the Breeders' Cup Post Position Draw, presented by Root & Riddle, live from Keeneland. Post positions determined for the 14th Breeders' Cup World Championship races. Join us Monday, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific.
This November, the stands here won't be filled with screaming fans, but they'll still be shaking. Don't miss horse racing's ultimate international event, the Breeders' Cup World Championships from historic Keeneland. The whole world will be watching and wagering as the sport's greatest stars battle for 14 World Championship titles. So get ready for the Breeders' Cup, live November 6th and 7th.
War of Will won the Preakness!
Satsas qui s'en va, Satsas qui s'envole, Satsas qui va triompher dans le prix du Jockey Club.
It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
What's up, Steelers and Eagles fans? Welcome to week 8 of the NFL season. Welcome back into our studio. We're so psyched to be here. You're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. He's the handicapper, Dave Weaver. We are socially distanced, and it feels so good.
It's my favorite song in the world. It just gets me going, ready for some football.
Yes, we are in our Los Angeles studio, and we are, of course, getting you ready for football, for all that action this weekend. And as always, the rest of our team of sports betting experts are also ready to roll. Look at this panel of guys. These guys are here to help you make some money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. Plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy. It's legal. It's so much fun, guys. So let's get this party started here in week 8. They're ready. I'm ready. You're ready. And Steelers fans, we're kicking things off with a huge AFC North matchup. We got Pittsburgh taking on their rival, the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens. First place in the division is on the line in this matchup. These are 2 of the top 3 favorites at the FanDuel Sportsbook to win the AFC Championship. So, Andrew Filipponi, let's get right into it. You are the radio voice there in Pittsburgh. Last weekend, you tweeted it was time for a cigar and a drink after your Steelers improved to 6-0. I hope you enjoyed that because Pittsburgh is getting 3.5 points in a very tough road matchup. Which way are you going, Pony?
Well, warning here, a disclaimer. My picks on Steelers games would drive you to drinking because I'm 0-6 against the spread picking Steelers game. Dave was going to remind me of that, so I beat him to the punch, Lisa. Absolutely.
Well done.
That being said, I am going to take the Ravens in this game. John Harbaugh is 10-2 coming off of byes. You see the number there. Ben Roethlisberger in his career at Baltimore, Dave, he is 4-6, and the common thread in their wins is that the Ravens scored fewer than 17 points in each of those Big Ben victories. I don't see the Steelers defense holding Baltimore under 17. Therefore, I like the Ravens minus 3.5 in this contest.
You're finally on the right side. I'm with you here. You know, fresh off the bye week where the Steelers barely hung on to beat the Titans on the road, second consecutive game. So the Steelers fans can put out the cigars because I don't think there's going to be any victory smokes here. The real key for me is when you look at what the Steelers did in their first 4 wins, look at the 4 teams that they beat. Their combined record now, Pony, 6-20-1. Yeah, they did beat the Browns and the Titans after those 4 easy wins, but this is a team that is, I think, just better than the Steelers at home, taking the Baltimore Ravens to cover the 3.5 points. I'm with you.
All right, time now for the right take. Let's get Cole's take on this thing. That's getting us out to Chicago, bringing our NFL expert, Cole Wright, with Marquee Sports Network, formerly with the NFL Network, of course. Cole, you heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning, and by how many points, Cole?
Well, Lisa, victory cigars are overrated. They make your facial hair smell like an ashtray. But Steelers-Ravens week, it's just different for both of these teams. Now, this year's Pittsburgh squad, they're a little bit different as well. They're 6-0 for the first time since 1978. That's when they went 7-0. They eventually finished 14-2, and they 1-0. Now, Big Ben last week got a little sloppy. We saw the 3 interceptions. That was a season high. But with that said, the losses, they have to come from somewhere. Following a bye week, Lamar Jackson, a flawless 2-0, plus his only career start versus Pittsburgh. Well, Baltimore outlasted the Steelers in an overtime win. It was a 26-23 W. Jackson's numbers weren't great. He went up against Mason Rudolph, not Big Ben, so he's looking for a little redemption in this one. Now, I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens getting the win here, Lisa, 24-20. Count it.
Of course, Steelers fans, you can just go ahead and fade our guys, fade Cole there, and take your guys in the points. A winning $50 bet on Pittsburgh means you're going to collect more than $96 on your wager. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can place your bet right now. Eagles fans, Philly is also taking on a division rival this week. The Eagles host the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. The Eagles, of course, you know, riding high after a last-second win against the Giants. The Cowboys, on the other hand, coming off a blowout loss in Washington. They lost backup quarterback Andy Dalton, who's now in concussion protocol. So Dallas could have to, Dave, start that rookie seventh-rounder under center. We got Ben DiNucci out of James Madison. Dallas getting, you see it on the board here, getting 8.5 points on the road. What do you make of this matchup?
Pony, I'm going to start here by taking the Dallas Cowboys in this game and getting the points because the Eagles are not very reliable as a favorite of 6.5 points or more, just 2-7 in their last 9. I know Dallas is struggling with their offensive line, but the best player on either of these two rosters is still Ezekiel Elliott. He's going to, I think, break out with the big game here. I just cannot trust the Eagle to cover 8.5 points.
Well, the Cowboys haven't covered anything all year. They're the last team in the NFL that's winless against the spread, but I think that trend will change in this game. I watched Dallas and Washington, and the thing that stood out to me was that it was all Dallas offensive miscues. They got blown out in that game because they couldn't block. Dalton got injured, and Elliott dropped the ball that turned into an interception. They held Kyle Allen under 200 passing yards in that game. And I think they will limit Carson Wentz in this one, limit him enough to cover a huge spread. 8.5 is too many. Give me the Cowboys.
Okay, well, Eagles fans, you do you. Hey, if you think your team can cover that spread, bet $50 on Philly. You're going to collect more than $95 on a winning wager. And, of course, on this show, we are just getting started. On our Week 8 breakdowns, it's early, guys. More game previews coming up in just a few minutes, including the Monday Night Football matchup between the Bucs and Giants with a very large spread. We're going to get into that. And the guy that sets all the lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook joins us right now, the odds maker himself, John Sheeran. Hey, Sheeran, give us a peek at that book here. Are there any betting trends this week that have you rethinking a specific line?
I think not necessarily betting trends, Lisa, but I think the Steelers-Ravens is the one that we're really a little bit wary of. Our numbers have this a little bit closer to 5.5, 6, despite it sitting at the 3.5 that it's at now. We've been high in Pittsburgh all season, to be fair, but this really feels like a bit of a letdown spot for them, Lisa, to be honest. They were impressive dismissing the Titans well for at least 3/4 of that game before they probably took their eyes off the prize there and looked forward to Baltimore. Baltimore were at home, sitting on the couch. The guys touched on Harbaugh's record, 10-2 off a bye. And if you remember back to the previous week, they probably took a bye in the second half of that Eagles game and let them back into that as well. So nearly a full 2-week prep for Baltimore, and we expect them to be too strong for Pittsburgh in what is really their acid test with a view on the Super Bowl for the Steelers, Lisa.
All right, great stuff, Sharon. We're going to see you again in just a little bit. And, of course, you can also place your bets on the app. So we're going to do that right now by putting some math to our money, getting the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros. Ed, joining us from Dallas. Ed, or said Giant Ed, welcome back into the show. Hey, what you got for us this week? What lines are you exposing for us?
Well, the Jets and Chiefs line, that spread is absolutely comical, but I think the total of 49 is actionable here. So far this season, the Chiefs rank 18th in situation neutral seconds per play at 30 seconds, meaning their offensive pace is about average in the NFL per Football Outsiders, with Pat Mahomes and company scoring on most drives. Nothing suggests that they can't get that 31 to 32 point total like they normally do each game. For the Jets, they rank 14th in the same metric, about 29.46 seconds. Only that offense, it's a little less successful than Kansas City's, ranking dead last in EPA for dropback and last in EPA for rush. I don't predict turnovers, but if Sam Darnold does give the ball up to the second best pass defense in football, short fields will only increase what KC can do. It is possible the Chiefs cover this total by themselves, so I'm taking the over.
I'm a little bit weary when you get a line this big if there's going to be that much scoring. There's been a 19-point line or higher 16 times since 1978, and the total score average in those games has been 43 points. So I think it could get to be a blowout early here. The Jets get a few points late to maybe cover the game. But ultimately, I'm going to fade you and think this game goes under the 49.
Backdoor total. That's what I'm going after. Hey, there's another game I think has some great value here. That's New Orleans giving 4.5 on the road at Chicago. Both teams underwhelmed in their matchups last week, but the Saints have more reason for optimism. Recently, Drew Brees has mastered short throws of conducting that methodical passing game. That's what we expect from him over the last few years. His average at the target, shallowest in the NFL at 6 yards a throw. And not having Michael Thomas, that has been devastating. His percentage share of teams' yards over the last 3 seasons rank among all NFL receivers first last year, 16th in 2018, 5th in 2017. It is Michael Thomas in New Orleans, or it is nothing. Now, Chicago has a similar relationship with Allen Robinson, leads the team in target share at 28%. It's been that way over the last 2+ seasons, but he may not be able to go because he's in concussion protocol. Michael Thomas may be able to return. Regardless, I like what New Orleans is capable of, what they're capable of doing offensively. I think they're going to cover the 4.5 here.
Yeah, this is an easy tail for me, Ed. I'm right there with you. I mean, how can I take the Bears in this spot? They're 27th in scoring offense. They're 29th in total offense, and Drew Brees has the highest completion percentage in the NFL. I don't think the Bears offense can keep up, so I'm going to tell you.
All right, and also remember, I know that Ed just mentioned it, but they could be without Allen Robinson, who's been in concussion protocol this week. But Chicago, you're getting points at home. So if you like the Bears in this spot, place a winning $50 bet. You're going to collect more than $95. Remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to check out all the Week 8 lines available for you to bet right now. New users, again, that promo code MOREWAYS1000 when you sign up for your new account. And for all of you new users, welcome, Pennsylvania. We are so excited to have you with us, and we take care of our family. We take care of our friends, Dave. So let's break this whole thing down. We're going to get to our 101 segment. This I call a special fist bump for those of you that are new to sports betting. So, Dave, we talked about spread. We talked about moneyline bets, total wagers as well. Let's take a pause here, explain what each of those are, and give us your best bets for each here in Week 8.
All right, quick tutorial. We'll start with the spread, and that is the amount of points attached to a team that you need to win by or lose by. In this case, let's go to the Chargers and the Broncos. The spread is 3 points. If you're betting the Chargers, you need to win by 4 or more to get the job done. I'm going to play the Broncos. So by getting 3 points, that means they can lose by 1 or 2, and I'm going to cash that bet. Ultimately, I think Denver's going to win the game anyways, but it's nice to have a little bit of cushion just in case. Now, the money line means there's no spread. You're just picking who's going to win the game. Let's go to Baltimore-Pittsburgh for my example there. The spread is 3.5. That doesn't matter, but look at these numbers here. Ravens minus 200. That means you're risking $200, though, to win 100. The Steelers, if you bet them, you're risking 100 to win 168. I'm willing to bet 200 to win 100. I think the Ravens are going to win this game, and they don't have to cover. Even if they win by 3, you're in good shape. Now, the total, we'll go to Cincinnati and Tennessee for this one. It's a big number, too, 53.5. You're taking, at the end of the game, the two teams' combined score. So I need, at least 27-27 go to overtime. You're locked up. But I think the Bengals are the team that's going to really contribute here. They've scored 27 or more points in 4 of their games already this year. People don't think of Cincinnati as a high-scoring offense normally, but this year with Joe Burrow, that's different. And obviously we know Tennessee can score with the best of them. So I'm going to take the over in that game. We need at least 54 points.
Those are great stats because that's a high total and you're still going over. I love it, Dave. Getting out there. There you go, Pennsylvania. Plenty of spread, money line, and total bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. But also, I like to mention this, a ton of fun parlays, props, alternate lines for those of you who've been at this a while. This party is open to everybody. Check it all out on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. All right, thanks, Dave. And so now you are all set, Pennsylvania. If you are making a road trip to the New Jersey area, this is your personal invitation to join us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. We're located right across the parking lot from MetLife Stadium. We know you cannot be in the stadium right now, but you can be at the Meadowlands in the Sportsbook with us. Dozens of TVs, table service, food, drink, of course, live sports betting on all of your favorite teams and players. Mask up, keep your distance. We're staying safe. We're doing this right. Enjoy your NFL Sunday with us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. We look forward to welcoming you. Time now to talk daily fantasy. Let's keep this thing moving and Tell you how you can turn just about $4 into $1 million. Yes, back up that truck. Enter the FanDuel Sunday Million Contest on FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app right now. Of course, our job on this show is to help you win that $1 million. So we're hooking you up with the best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel Editor-in-Chief JJ Zacharyson in-house with his best values for Week 8. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa, my first value this week is Rashard Higgins of the Cleveland Browns, who's only $5,500. There's no OBJ in that lineup. He tore his ACL. He's done for the year. In comes Rashard Higgins, who had a 21% target share this past week. He caught 6 passes, 110 yards. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for this Browns offense moving forward, and he gets a plus matchup this week against Vegas. So I like Rashard Higgins at his price point of $5,500. And I also like Myles Gaskin, who's $5,700. We've got a new quarterback for Miami, so there is some volatility there, but Gaskin has seen almost 15% of Miami's targets this year, and over his last 4 games, he's seen over 71% of Miami's running back rushes. Those are really good numbers for a back that's priced at $5,700. And even though this matchup might look tough on paper, the Rams defense has been very average against opposing running backs in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed, so I like Gaskin at this price point. And then finally, there's T. Higgins. He's only $6,000. Since week 3, Higgins has seen a 20% target share in this Cincinnati Bengals offense. He gets Tennessee, a plus matchup. I really like him and this scoring environment in that Bengals-Titans game. So play T. Higgins here in week 8.
Awesome stuff, JJ, as always. Thank you. Now, you all make sure to use JJ's information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million Contest on FanDuel.com. Again, only about $4 to enter. There is a prize pool of $2.5 million. It's FanDuel.com and the FanDuel app. And there is even more money to be had. The Sunday Million is just one of many daily fantasy games offered at FanDuel.com and on the app. There are also a bunch of free DFS contests that you can enter right now. So just come play with us. Log on to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. Sign up for your chance to win cash and super legit prizes for free. It's our daily contest available each and every week. Time now to pile them up and just watch them pay. I love this part of the show. Let's bet some same-game parlays now where you can combine multiple bets from one game. Check it out. The bet really is self-explanatory. I know you guys know what this is. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet as you combine your wagers for the same game. The FanDuel Sportsbook was the first to offer this great feature for NFL wagers. It's smooth and so easy with us. And FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of the season. So let's take advantage of that, guys. Let's place those $10 bets and let's get creative here. Give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. Dave, you're right here with me. You first.
Let's go to Buffalo. 2 struggling offenses in this game. You got the Patriots who can't score and the Bills who barely scored against the Jets, 6 field goals last week. And factor in about 15 to 20 mile an hour winds in Buffalo on Sunday. I'm going under in the first quarter. I'm going under in the second quarter. And I'm going under in the third quarter. If you like the over, I hope they get all those points in the fourth quarter because I think there's going to be a low-scoring game. If you get those first 3 quarters to go under, $10 is going to win you about $70.
Well, sign me up as one of the guys who thinks that Odell Beckham Jr.'s injury is actually addition by subtraction for Baker Mayfield. He did so well without OBJ his rookie year. Rashard Higgins, those 6 catches, 110 yards. Those are the most receiving yards by a Browns receiver all year in relief last week. That trend will continue. I like Cleveland across the board in this game. A $10 risk-free wager you see right there collects you over $54.
Always a good idea to pounce on a great team that lost the week before, and I'm going to do that with the Tennessee Titans. I still think they're the second best team in the AFC. They are due for positive regression to the mean against the Bengals. I have Tennessee at 7.5 in terms of my own models in that line. That 5.5-point spread looks good to me, but I'll add total away points first half over 15.5. You put it together, I profit nearly $17. My $10 bet.
Yes, some serious ROI. Awesome stuff, guys. You can tail one of our guys or, hey, do your own thing. Build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of that risk-free $10 bet Click on the game that you like, hit the same game parlay tab, and just watch your odds increase. Be creative like our guys and have tons of fun with it. You can do it each and every week. And now let's get to the bright lights of Monday Night Football. The Bucs travel to the Meadowlands to take on the Giants. Tampa Bay made moves this week. I know you all saw it, signing wide receiver Antonio Brown. He will not be able to play until his suspension is finished after this weekend's game, so he will not be in the field in this one. The Bucs defense will face a Giants offense that ranks in the bottom 5 in rushing, passing, and points. Pony, coming right to you here. The Giants are getting 10.5 points in this matchup. Can they keep it close enough to cover that number?
Well, they've been doing that for most of the year, Lisa. Their last 3 losses are by a combined 12 points. We saw what happened to them last Thursday against Philadelphia. You know, they're not really getting blown out in a lot of these games. So, you mentioned Antonio Brown. He won't be there. Chris Godwin's got a broken finger now, too, for Tom Brady. So, because of that line, 10.5 points, I'm not predicting a stunning upset, but I do think New York keeps it a one-possession game the entire way.
10.5 points is a lot for an NFL team to lay on the road, but there's one guy that does well in that situation, and it's quarterback Tom Brady. The last 5 times that he has been a road favorite of 10 points or more, he has covered all 5 of those games, and he does it by jumping out to early leads and then game managing late in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So not only am I going to bet the Bucs in this game to win, I'm also going to play them in the first half because I think they're going to be up pretty good early on.
All right, great stuff, guys. Let's check back in with our NFL expert, Cole Wright. Hey, Cole, you heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning, and by how many points?
Well, Lisa, these are 2 teams on a clearly completely different trajectory. We know that the Bucs, they're trending upwards after winning 5 of the last 6, and the Giants, well, they're just spinning their tires, struggling, as we've seen so far. They're winless versus teams with a top 10 scoring defense. In Tampa, well, they're top 8. And the Giants, they've allowed far too many sacks. If you're scoring at the house, they've allowed 20 of them. Now, Tampa, they're second in the league. They've wrangled in 25. And then there's a Tampa offense. They're now starting to click. Gronk found the end zone in each of the last 2 wins, and Tom Brady is starting to incorporate all of his wide receivers. And like you said, Lisa, no Mr. Big Chest this week, but Bruce Arians said that AB is looking great. So I think this is an easy Bucs win. Pencil them in here for the W, 34-9.
Almost a win-win here. Eagles fans, you can now root against the Giants and make money doing it. Place a winning $50 bet on the Bucs to cover that number. You're going to collect more than $96 on a winning bet. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Great stuff by our guys there. John Sheeran, I'm coming back to you. I need your exclusive insight here on the hottest bets at the Sportsbook right now. Which teams are taking the most action for week 8?
It's all about the Packers, Lisa, and to be honest, we're kind of happy with that. We really like this spot for Minnesota. We know that they obviously lost that shootout in game 1, but I think Zimmer's defense and the cornerbacks, he commented on it this week, have improved every week. And the interesting thing for us is the wind. There's a 25-mile-an-hour wind expected in Lambeau on Sunday. It's affected the total by nearly 4 points already, but not the spread at all, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I expect us to see a quieter game, not as an offensive, potent game plan from Aaron Rodgers. So for that reason, we really like Minnesota. Our number really only has this line around about a 5. It's a full touchdown right now, although it is shaded towards Minnesota on the +7. So that's the one that's by far and away the most popular, over 90% of the money. Expected to be the most lopsided one, but we're pretty happy with that.
All right, Sharon, thank you. Great perspective as always. Now a closer look at some of the injuries that could impact your bets this week. A few big-name running backs are hurt, trying to get into the starting lineup this week. Pro Football Doc David Chow has more on these running backs.
Let's talk about a couple of running backs. Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, and Miles Sanders. All 3 are questionable at best this week with a lot of running back injuries. I would rate the chances of return for this week as Dalvin Cook the greatest, followed by Aaron Jones, followed by Miles Sanders. Cook is coming off a bye week with his adductor groin strain, and it appeared to be mild. Aaron Jones' calf strain missed last week, was a game-time decision but missed, but this week should be a true game-time decision with a reasonable chance to play. And Miles Sanders has not practiced yet as of this recording here, and I think his chances to return after his knee sprain are fairly limited for the Eagles.
Let's give some underdogs a little love here. Of course, betting on an underdog to win outright is going to get you some great value and, of course, Cole, a big payout. And by the way, fist bump to you. You have been crushing these moneyline moneymakers. So I'm going to come to you now. Who's on upset alert this week?
All right, well, how about this? I'm going to put Baker Mayfield and those Cleveland Browns on upset alert. And 2020, it's been rough for Baker and the Browns. They're 5-2, and that's only good enough for third place in the division. And I'm going to see some of those rough times. Well, they're going to keep on rolling because Derek Carr, he's averaging nearly 100 more passing yards per game than Baker Mayfield, and expect some of those good vibes to continue for Las Vegas. Raiders, they get the win here, 24-17. And like you said, I have been crushing some of these underdogs. And last week, the Detroit Lions, well, they helped me out once again. Detroit, they came away with a win over the Falcons, and they're going to do it again this week versus Indy. Detroit, they've won 3 of their last 4, and they're just happy to be home because 66% of their games, they've come away from Ford Field, and it's better to sleep in your own bed more times than not. So I'm getting the Lions as the win in this one, 24-21, Lisa.
And Cole, you know what I do? I put my chicken scratch notes down here, and I'll make those bets myself. All right, gamblers, head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Take a look at the odds for each matchup. See if there's a money line bet that you like. And remember, picking an underdog means plus money, and we all love that. All right, you can make that money line bet or any bet on the app risk-free right now, up to $1,000. All you have to do is sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 just by using the promo code right there. We've been talking about it all show long. More ways, 1,000. If your bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel's going to refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. Ed, virtual high five to you for your pick last week. You had the Packers alternate spread of minus 11.5 at Houston. Your $1,000 risk-free bet collected $3,600. So our viewers, guys, Ed is your guy. Our guys are all coming on to get their $1,000 risk-free bet right now for this week. So, Dave, let's make our viewers some money. You first. What's your bet this week? What are you crushing?
The Broncos.
Yeah.
Because the L.A. Chargers, they beat Jacksonville last week. They have 2 wins this year. Those wins are against 1-win teams, Jacksonville and Cincinnati. And now John Sheeran thinks that they should be favored on the road. No, thank you. I'm going to take the underdog and play the money line on the Broncos plus 148. So my $1,000 would get me back close to $2,500.
Yeah, when the chips are down, I'm going to bet on Bill Belichick here and Cam Newton, who's an MVP and is afraid that he's going to get permanently benched by Belichick. You know, lost in that game, that horrible game that New England played against San Francisco, was the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo was bad. He had 2 interceptions and a 79.5 passer rating. That was forced by the New England defense. They will get it done. Play them this week, a same-game parlay. You see the options at the bottom of the page. $1,000 will collect you over $2,600.
One team I am circling that's due for regression to the mean is the Los Angeles Rams. They are 14th in EPA per dropback. That means they're probably more of a 500, maybe 9-7 kind of team. So they're due for a couple of losses. And what bigger opportunity is there for Miami than having Tua Tagovailoa starting, going up against the Rams on a short week, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast for a 1 p.m. kickoff? I think the Dolphins win this game outright. I'm having them win from 1 to 13 points. My $1,000 risk-free bet scores me a total of $3,200.
There it is, gamblers. Make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. Remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. I'll keep saying it. It's easy. It's legal. It is live. Take your winnings if you hit and just get your money back if you don't. I call it the best mulligan in this business. All right, we're about a week away from horse racing's most prestigious event. It is the Breeders' Cup World Championships ahead of us. The horses run on November 6th and 7th at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. And this year, you can bet on all of the Breeders' Cup races right from your phone. Just download the FanDuel Racing app. Dave, this is very exciting. There's a special promotion for new users. Fill us in.
Yeah, well, in football, everybody likes to bet on the Super Bowl. That's where people come out of the woodwork. In horse racing, it's the Breeders' Cup. So if you don't have a FanDuel Racing account, sign up for one now. We're going to match your first deposit up to $50. 5 championship races on Friday, 8 championship races on Saturday, some huge betting pools in the Breeders' Cup, and some huge long shots that are going to be hitting on those days, so make sure you get in on the action.
And the Field of Horses was just released recently. I know you get excited to get into that. Horse racing is your jam. So we're going to get into that hopefully next week. Maybe a little behind-the-scenes action with Dave and I talking ponies coming up. Thanks for hanging with us today. Thanks, Dave, for bringing us into the Breeders' Cup. You guys download that app and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app as well. You guys have been watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. Thanks for hanging with us. Now make yourself some cash. Download that FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's free, easy, and legal. And we've got extra love again for our new users. Use that promo code we've been talking about all show long.
More Ways 1,000.
There it is. Get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. You can do it right now. Hey, follow us on Twitter at More Ways to Win TV. We've got bonus tips, betting information throughout the NFL season. You can follow me at Lisa Kerney. You can follow him at Ice Cold Exacta. We will see you guys right back here next week. Enjoy the games and good luck with your bets. Any parting words?
Good luck. That's it.
Bye.
TVG Sunday night. $1 million on the line in the Golden State Million Futurity. Hit the ground running for gate-to-wire quarter horse action from Los Alamitos. Watch and wager Sunday night, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
I grew up at the racetrack. My dad was a racing executive. He actually created the first $1 million thoroughbred race, which was the Arlington Million back in 1981. And he was a part owner of Arlington Park. He also later bought a racetrack in Wyoming called Wyoming Downs. I spent every summer working on the track there. I love second-time starters and maiden races. I'm just looking for anything that can give me a price on a horse that I think is going to improve dramatically. And I'm looking for a horse that maybe showed flashes of ability in the morning, showed a little something in the body of a race that's not obvious, something you can see by watching it. I like horses that perhaps ran evenly and were just getting an education, but don't catch the eye. Everyone can see the second-time starter that blew the start and rushes up and finishes second, and those horses usually get bet down, so I steer away from those, but I do love second-time starters. If I wasn't working at TVG, I'd be a bum. During the snow season, I'd probably be on a mountain in Jackson Hole or somewhere in Colorado, and then in the summer, I'd be at the racetrack doing something to get in without admission. That's basically been my entire goal in life, was have a job so I could go to the racetrack without paying for it.
It's time you start grooming safely with Manscaped's Lawnmower 3.0 with skin-safe technology to help prevent manscaping accidents while grooming. Head to manscaped.com today. For a limited time, get free shipping, a free pair of Manscaped boxers, and a free shed travel bag.
Michigan, welcome to week 8 of the NFL season, and welcome into our studio. Finally, Dave, we are back.
Took 8 weeks, but we're here.
We're here, and you're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. He's the handicapper, Mr. Dave Weaver. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney. We are in our Los Angeles studio, getting you ready for all the NFL action this weekend. And as always, the rest of our team of sports betting experts are ready to roll. Look at this panel. These guys are here to help you make money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. It's that easy. Plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, it's fun, so let's get this party started. I'm ready, they're ready, you're ready. In Chicago, we're kicking off with your 5-2 Bears hosting the 4-2 Saints in a huge NFC matchup here. The Bears are coming off a loss to the Rams in LA, as you know. They scored just 10 points, our lowest total of the season, so we're going up. While also losing Allen Robinson to concussion protocol this week, still a bit of uncertainty on his availability. Bears will try to get their offense back on track this week against a Saints defense, giving up 29 points per game. It's ninth most in the league. Andrew Filipponi, the Bears are 4.5-point home underdogs. Can they cover that number?
Well, I think this is a critical week for all of us. We really got to track our picks this week because this will be the first time in 8 months Dave has worn pants for this show to make his pick. So we'll see if the numbers, Dave, you're big into trends, if they're better with you wearing slacks for this program. But, I have to like New Orleans here. Nick Foles has thrown an interception in all 4 of his starts. He gets no help in the run game. They're dead last in rushing the ball. And he's going up against a quarterback. Breeze is starting to find his rhythm, even without Michael Thomas, the highest completion percentage in the league. It's not that big of a number, Dave, 4.5. Give me the Saints.
I think the first 6 or 7 weeks wearing gym shorts, I picked against the Bears, but sharply dressed today, I'm going with Chicago. And I know a lot of people on Twitter always say, you guys never picked the Bears. It's true. We haven't. We've really been kind of anti-Bears betting-wise. But I think as a home dog in this spot, Pony, the Saints have not impressed me. Even the games that they've been winning, they've been just squeaking by. So maybe they squeak by here. There's going to be some wind in Chicago in this game, about 15 miles an hour. That's not good for a team that likes to play in a dome. So I'm going to take the Bears and the points.
So let's get to Chicago, guys. You know Cole is business up top, party on the bottom as well. Right take right now, Chicago. Hey, Cole, NFL expert with Marquee Sports Network. I got to give you your due, formerly of NFL Network. Cole, you heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have by winning and by how many points?
Well, I like to wear sweatpants shorts to every single party that I attend, so that's how I'm rolling right now. But the Bears, they're still a team, Lisa, in search of an identity. They're 5-2, and they're playing 500 football over the last 4. The offense, it's non-existent. Nick Foles, he's thrown a pick in every game he's played in, but with the good comes the bad. And this Bears defense, they're really good. Top 10 overall, plus the best red zone D in all the land. And Drew Brees, he's going to be a test for this unit. Brees is the Saints' tops and third down offense. With Chicago's defense, they're ready to defend. They're the number 2 unit league-wide. Plus, New Orleans, they're playing their first game outdoors, so I see the Bears taking advantage of some of those inclement conditions. 21-14, Bear down here, Lisa.
I love that point. They're out of the dome for the first time here, guys. Bears fans, your team is getting points at home, so if you bet on Chicago, a winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $95 on your wager. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app, promo code MOREWAYS1000. All right, let's move on now to the Colts, who are traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions this week. Indy coming off that bye week. Their defense has given up 59 points in the last 2 games, gave up 56 points in their first 4 combined. So you see the trend there. Now the Lions have won their last 2 to bring their record above 500 on the season. Dave, Colts are giving 2.5 in this matchup. Which way are you going?
I'm okay with that. I think they're going to win this game pretty handily. You mentioned the bye week, and the Colts are 11-4-1 against the spread the last 16 times off a bye week. That's the best in the NFL over that span. That's a 73% cover rate. So I think they cover this game. And again, the Lions, you mentioned some of the stats there defensively for the Colts, but the Lions are even worse. They're giving up 31 points a game at home. That's 4th worst in the NFL. I see the Colts outscoring the Lions easily in this game and covering.
I disagree. I mean, those numbers you give against the spread, a lot of those games came with Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning at quarterback. This is Phillip Rivers, and when the spread is this small, I got to feel good about a quarterback in the matchup, and I don't with Rivers. 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on the year. Matthew Stafford is playing better right now, and he's at home. Take Detroit.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give my extra 2 cents here because given those 2 defenses, you've got the total set at 50. I would take the easy over on this game as well. All right, Colts fans, if you bet on your team and give the points here, you're going to collect more than $88 on a winning $50 bet. And you know how we roll. We are just getting started on our Week 8 breakdowns. More game previews coming up, including our guys' picks for the Sunday night and Monday night games. We're talking prime time coming up about 10 minutes. And of course, the guy that sets all the lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook joins us right now, as he does every week, the odds maker, John Sheeran. Hey, Sheeran, give us a look at that book. Are there any betting trends this week that have you rethinking a specific line?
Not really betting trends, Lisa. The Steelers-Ravens game is a really interesting line from our perspective. Our numbers at the start of the year had this as high as 8.5. Obviously, the Steelers have improved this season. We still make this line closer to 5.5, 6 than the 3.5 that it's at right now, given the market consensus. So, we look at this line and we think, the Ravens have had a bye week. They actually had a half a game off against the Eagles in the second half the previous week. They've spent 2 weeks nearly looking forward to this game. We know Harbaugh's really good off the bye, a record of 10-2 coming off that week's rest. And they were sitting on the couch watching last week as the Steelers were trying to deal with the Titans. So this line looks a little bit suspicious to us. We expect it to trend up towards Baltimore. So that's one that we're wary of right now.
Great perspective. As always, Sharon, thanks. We'll see you in a bit. Of course, you can also place your bets on the app right now. So let's do that. We're going to put some math to our money, get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, this guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas. Ed, what line needs to be exposed this week? What you got?
Well, let's stick with the same game here, Steelers and Ravens. But I'm looking at the total here of 46.5, and reputationally, this should be a defensive masterpiece. But I'm actually expecting something a little bit different. Ben Roethlisberger has the shortest time to throw of any quarterback in the NFL at 2.29 seconds. Now, a shorter average time to throw is actually a good thing because the faster you get rid of the ball, the less likely you are to be sacked or pressured. Led to a 67.9% completion percentage. That's good for 7th highest in football. Now, Lamar Jackson, he's naturally going to have a longer time to throw because he runs so much. He's tied for 5th longest at 3 seconds, but he makes up for it with the 7th longest average depth of target at 9.4 yards. His completion percentage over expected, outstanding. 2nd highest behind Russell Wilson at 6.6. So you've got Lamar Jackson going up against Big Ben, who has Deontay Johnson at his disposal. I think this game gets into the 50s. I like the over.
Yeah, I'm going to fade you here. I think there's reasons to like the under. I'll tell you why. Yannick Ngakoue will make his Ravens debut. He goes with Matthew Judon. Now they've got bookend pass rush, and Ngakoue brings 5 sacks over from Minnesota. And I'm not convinced Baltimore can pass the ball on the Steelers. 31st in the league. They just picked up Des Bryant, your old friend. Ed doesn't dress as snazzy as you, off the scrap heap. He's been out of football for a long time. They're desperate. I'm going to take the under in this game.
You know, Pony, another game that I really like here. The spread is comical between the Jets and Chiefs, and yes, Dez is one of my boys. But the total of 49 here is actionable. So far this season, Chiefs rank 18th in situation-neutral seconds per play at 30, meaning their offensive pace is about average in the NFL per Football Outsiders. But with Pat Mahomes and company scoring on most drives, there's nothing that really suggests that they aren't going to get 31 to 32 points like they normally do. Now, for the Jets, they rank 14th in the same metric, 29.46 seconds of play. Only that offense is a little less effective than, say, the Chiefs. They rank dead last in EPA per drop back, last in EPA per rush. I don't predict turnovers here, but if Sam Darnold does give the ball up, that just means more opportunities for the Chiefs to score. It's possible KC gets this total by themselves, taking the over.
I'm going to fade you on this one because these type of spreads, 19 points, are a rarefied error. It just doesn't happen. It's happened 16 times in the history of the league. And in those games, the average score has been 29 to 14. Add that up, and it's 43, about 6 points shy of what this total is. So a lot of people expecting fireworks, but when you're favored by close to 3 touchdowns, you really don't have to put the pedal to the metal that much. I think it's going to be more low scoring than some people think here.
And of course, along with the total, a lot of attention on that spread for this one, 19.5. If you think the Jets can cover the huge number for this game, place a winning $50 bet on New York. You're going to collect more than $97 on your wager. Remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to check out all the Week 8 lines. They're available for you right now. And new users, special love. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 when you sign up for your new account. All right, and for all of you new users, welcome. Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, we are excited to have you with us. And you know how we roll. We take care of you. We take care of our family and our friends. So, Dave, let's break this whole thing down. Let's get to our 101 segment right now. It's a special fist bump, that's what I call it, for all of those of you that are new to sports betting. Dave, we've talked spread, we've talked total wagers, we've talked money line bets as well. So let's take a second here, explain what each of those are, and give us your best bets for each here in Week 8.
Okay, yeah, just a quick tutorial on all these terms that we've been throwing out there. Let's start with the spread. We use the Chargers and Broncos as my example. The spread is 3 points. The Chargers are actually the favorite. So if you're betting the Chargers, you need to win by 4 or more to cover that spread. I actually like the Broncos. I'm going to take the 3 points. And a weird stat about Denver, since 2018, there's only one team that's lost by 2 points more than twice. The Broncos have lost by 2 points 5 times. So just in case they lose by 2 or 1, I get the points. I think they're going to win anyways, but I like Broncos in this spot with the points. Now, the money line, there's no spread attached. It doesn't matter what you win by. You're just trying to pick the winner in the game. We're going to go to the Ravens and the Steelers. I like the Ravens. That spread's a little scary. What if they only win by 3? You're going to win the money line bet. But you see where it says minus 200 there. That means you're risking $200 to win 100. The flip side of that, if you like the Steelers, you only have to bet 100 to win the plus 168 or $168 of profit. I'm going to risk the 200 and bet the Ravens to win this game. Now, the total, very simple. You take the total points at the end of the game by both teams. Let's go to Cincinnati, Tennessee. It's a big number, by the way. One of the biggest of the week. 53.5 points, which means for me to hit my over, I need 54. I'm going to get it, though, because Cincinnati is going to get half of that on their own. They've scored 27 or more points 4 times already this year. And Tennessee, they steamroll. You know, they're going to be able to put up their share. So let's play the over there. That's my total of the week, over.
Sneaky info on the Bengals, too, because I don't think
they're better than most people think.
A lot of people realize
offensively.
how many points they've been scoring this season. All right, awesome stuff, Dave. There you go, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. Plenty of spread, money line, and total bets available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Also, I like to mention this because there's also a ton of fun parlays, props, alternate lines for those of you who have been at this a while. The party's open for everybody, Dave. Check it out right now, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Time now to talk daily fantasy and how you can turn just about $4 into $1 million. This is where I just kind of like back up the truck a little bit. Enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest to win it on the app right now. It's there. Our job, of course, is to help you win that $1 million. So we're hooking you up with the best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zachariason in-house with us with his best values for Week 8. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa, my first value this week is Rashard Higgins of the Cleveland Browns, who's only $5,500. There's no OBJ in that lineup. He tore his ACL. He's done for the year. In comes Rashard Higgins, who had a 21% target share this past week. He caught 6 passes, 110 yards. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for this Browns offense moving forward, and he gets a plus matchup this week against Vegas. So I like Rashard Higgins at his price point of $5,500. And I also like Myles Gaskin, who's $5,700. We've got a new quarterback for Miami, so there is some volatility there, but Gaskin has seen almost 15% of Miami's targets this year, and over his last 4 games, he's seen over 71% of Miami's running back rushes. Those are really good numbers for a back that's priced at $5,700. And even though this matchup might look tough on paper, the Rams defense has been very average against opposing running backs in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed, so I like Gaskin at this price point. And then finally, there's T. Higgins. He's only $6,000. Since week 3, Higgins has seen a 20% target share in this Cincinnati Bengals offense. He gets Tennessee, a plus matchup. I really like him and this scoring environment in that Bengals-Titans game. So play T. Higgins here in week 8.
Awesome plays, JJ. As always, thank you. And now you make sure to use JJ's information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com right now. Again, only about $4 to enter. There's a prize pool of $2.5 million. It's right there on FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app. And there's even more money to be had. The Sunday Million is just one of many daily fantasy games offered at FanDuel.com and on the app. There are also a bunch of free DFS contests that you can enter right now. Just log on to FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app, sign up for your chance to win cash. I like to say this, super legit prizes for free with our daily contests available each and every week. And my favorite time in the show, time to pile them up and watch them pay. Yes, let's bet some same-game parlays where you can combine multiple bets from one game. Check it out. Here it is. The bet is self-explanatory. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet as you combine your wagers for the same game. The FanDuel Sportsbook was the first to offer this great feature for NFL wagers. It's smooth, it's easy with us, and FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of the season. So guys, let's take advantage of that. Let's place those $10 bets right now and get creative here. Give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. You two are going to wait. Dave, you're 6 feet from me. You go.
Let's go to Buffalo and 2 struggling offenses. We're talking about the New England Patriots, who can't score, and the Buffalo Bills, who got 6 field goals against the Jets last week. Factor on top of that some windy conditions. They can't throw. They're going to run the ball a lot. The clock's going to be running. So I'm going to take not the under in the game. I'm going to take the under in the first quarter, the under in the second quarter, and the under in the third quarter. I don't care how many you score in the fourth. But if these 3 quarters go under, $10 is going to get me about a $70 profit.
I like the Browns to get to 6-2 on Sunday at home against Vegas. And one of the reasons why, I'm going to put these 3 together for this parlay. I don't think that Vegas can run the ball on Cleveland. Josh Jacobs' struggles have been kind of alarming. Only 3.4 yards per carry. No balance to the Vegas offense. So for that reason, I like the game to go under, Cleveland to cover, to win by 1 to 13 points. A $10 risk-free bet gets you $54.
I am going to get rid of recency bias and say that Tennessee is still the second best team in the AFC, and they are due for positive regression to the mean against the Bengals. I have Tennessee at a 7.5 line, not the 5.5 point spread, so I think the Titans can take care of business there, but I will add away total points first half over 15.5, and I will profit nearly $17 with a $10 bet.
Look at that ROI, guys. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Now you can tail one of our guys. Or hey, just build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of that risk-free $10 bet. Just click on the game you like, hit the same-game parlay tab, and watch your odds increase. Be creative. Have fun like them. Play around with it. We look forward to seeing you on the app. Now, time to get to prime time. Prime time. These bright lights are waiting for us on Sunday night. The matchup, the Cowboys on the road at Philly for an NFC East matchup. Huge here because the division is still wide open, Dave. The Eagles, the Eagles are riding high after a last-second win against the Giants. Looking back to last week, the Cowboys coming off that blow-off loss in Washington where they lost backup quarterback Andy Dalton, who is now in concussion protocol. So realistically, Dallas could have to start the rookie 7th-rounder under center, Ben DiNucci. Pony, bringing you in on this. Dallas is getting 8.5 points on the road. What do you make of this one, Pony?
Well, I think the line's too high. Now, I don't want people to confuse this. I still think Mike Nolan is an incompetent defensive coordinator in Dallas who was only hired because he had Mike McCarthy as his OC in San Francisco, and McCarthy did him a favor and hired him when he became head coach of the Cowboys. But I like this game to go Dallas's way from a spread perspective because I don't think the Eagles can protect Carson Wentz. They've allowed 28 sacks this year. It's the second most in the NFL. For as bad as Dallas's defense has been this year, I'm convinced that they're going to put pressure on Wentz, and that's going to keep it below that 8.5 number, Dave.
All right, Cole, we'll get to Dave in just a second, Pony. I got to get Cole back in here first. You heard Pony's pick. Cole, which team do you have winning on Sunday night and by how many points?
Well, Lisa, I'll tell you what, if week 8 is fine dining, then this game right here is a buffet of bologna sandwiches. You know, it's hard to pick a winner when it comes to these two teams. They're both struggling mightily. Dallas, they can take the division lead with the win on Sunday Night Football despite that defense, and they couldn't stop a leaky faucet. They're dead last in scoring and rushing and turnovers. And Mike Nolan, well, we've seen how much he struggled, and that sums up the Cowboys season. Meanwhile, Philly's defense, that's what's going to give them the upper hand in this one. They're just outside the top 10 in total defense, and Jim Schwartz's unit, well, they found a way to get that pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They're tied for 4th in sacks. So Philly, I see them with a runaway win here. 21-10, the Eagles are going to fly to victory.
There it is. Love those numbers. Cole, thank you. Now to Monday night. Tampa Bay heads to the Meadowlands to take on the Giants. Here, the Bucs made moves this week, signing wide receiver Antonio Brown, but not eligible to play until next week. So no Brown on the field this week. The Giants' offense ranks in the bottom 5 in rushing, passing, and points. Dave, New York is getting 10.5 points. Can they keep it close enough to cover that number?
By the way, Cole, I love bologna sandwiches, if you can't tell. So let's talk about the steak and lobster game of the prime time, and that is the Bucs. I love the Bucs. I think 10.5 is not a problem. Who is the master of covering a big spread on the road is Tom Brady. The last 5 times that he has been a double-digit favorite, he has covered in all 5 of those. And what he does is he dissects the defenses early, opens up a big lead, and then manages the game in the 4th quarter and stalls and just eats that clock. So that's what he's going to do. Aside from that, the NFC East, outside of their own divisional games, they're 5-13 against the spread against the rest of the league. So this is an easy spot to take the Bucs.
All right, remember, Chris Godwin is out of this matchup. He is injured, so the signing of Antonio Brown is very timely. Again, he will not be on the field this week, but look for him in Week 9. Ed, coming to you. Dave decided whether to tail or fade you earlier in the show. It's your turn to return the favor. Which side are you taking here in this matchup?
Well, Dave is full of baloney, except in this one instance. There were going to be growing pains with Tom Brady being a rhythm quarterback with head coach Bruce Arians, who likes airing it out. And to me, they have figured out this relationship just fine. Tom Brady's average depth of target ranks 10th at 8.5 yards. Last year, Jameis Winston was 2nd in this metric, while Brady was 23rd. New England at A-dot. But for perspective, Daniel Jones is 30th in average depth of target at 6.5 yards. So if the Giants trail early, they are not catching up at all. Brady's completion percentage over expected, even without some of his key targets, is 6.3, or 3rd highest in football, trailing only Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. Jones is 28th in this metric. My model has this game closer to 15 than 10.5. Bucks are covering.
Well done, Ed. And for the record, in normal life, the camera adds about 10 pounds. In COVID life, it adds about 15 to 20. So just for the record here. Sheeran, you look great. Coming back to you for your exclusive insight here on the hottest bets at the sportsbook right now. Who's taking the most action here in Week 8?
It's all about the Green Bay Packers, Lisa. We've seen it all season long. 5-1, the public have been tailing them. They're 5-1 with their win record, but also against the spread. Kicked it off in Week 1 against the Vikings, and now we have the repeat fixture here back in Green Bay. The worrying thing, though, for those bettors who have reinvested, and it has been huge, about 90% of the money so far for Green Bay on both the spread and the money line. The worrying thing about that, though, is the weather for me. 25-mile-an-hour winds. 35 degrees expected in Lambeau on Sunday. It's moved the total 4 points, but hasn't compressed the spread at all, which seems a little weird to me. We are shaded towards Minnesota at -122 on the +7. I expect to see it move towards Minnesota. So a little bit surprised the public are playing so hard so early on the Green Bay Packers on Sunday.
Great insight, Sharon. Have my chicken scratch notes. Thanks for that. Let's give some underdogs a little love here. Of course, betting on an underdog to win outright will get you some great value. Of course, a big payout to come with it. And Cole, fist bump to you. You have been crushing these money line money makers. Yes. Who is on upset alert this week?
Well, this week, Baker Mayfield and the Browns, beware, because 2020, it's been rough for everybody, but the Browns specifically, they're 5-2, and that's only good enough for third place in the division. The rough pumpkins, I see those continuing for Baker and company. Derek Carr, he's averaging close to 100 more passing yards per game than Baker. And I see D. Carr doing more of the same this weekend. Las Vegas, they're going to win at the Roomba in the Desert, 24-17. And then my other pick, as you know, last week, I went with Detroit, and I was 50-50 on those underdogs, and they pulled through for me versus Atlanta and Detroit. Well, they've won 3 of their last 4 contests, and they're just happy to be home in this one. They've played 66% of their games away from Ford Field, so it's just better to be at the house. I see the Detroit Lions pulling through in this one, 24-21, Lisa.
I love it. Great stuff, Cole. All right, gamblers, head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Take a look at the odds for each matchup. See if there's a money line bet that you like. Teo, Cole, do your thing. Remember, picking an underdog means plus money. They're all there waiting for you. And you can make that money line bet or any bet on the app right now, risk-free, up to $1,000. All you have to do, sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 just by using the promo code right there. More ways, 1,000. If your bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. And Ed, I have to give you a virtual high five, fist bump, elbow bump, whatever we're doing right now. You had the Packers alternate spread of -11.5 at Houston last week. Your $1,000 risk-free bet collected $3,600. Well done. Golf clap. All right, guys, let's do it again. You have up to $1,000 to place a risk-free bet here. So let's make our viewers that money. Dave, you first. Where's your bet going?
It's going on the Denver Broncos. The LA Chargers have 2 wins this year, one against the 1-win Bengals, one against the 1-win Jaguars. The Broncos have played the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Titans, elite teams, and they're an underdog at home. Thank you, John Sheeran, for giving me plus 148 on the team that should be favored. I'm betting my $1,000 on the Broncos, and I'm going to get back about $2,500.
I'm still trying to figure out what Sheeran meant when he said repeat fixture. What are we talking about here? The English Derby? I mean, is it Manchester United and Man U, Man City? I'm thrown off by that. But I'll digress here and get back to Buffalo and New England. This is a Waterloo game for Cam Newton. He needs this one. He understands that. And Buffalo is so bad against the run, 25th in the league. They allowed Frank Gore to go for 5.5 yards per carry last week, the ancient one. So I'm going to put these together. New England, of course, to cover. The game to go over because of Cam. $1,000 risk-free bet to collect $2,600.
At some point, Miami was going to unveil Tua Tagovailoa, and they're doing it at a perfect time when the Rams are coming off a short week, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast for a 1 p.m. kickoff and not facing an NFC East team or the Bears. The Rams are due for some regression to the mean, and the Dolphins are due for glory. I am taking the Porpoises to win outright, winning from 1 to 13 points. So my $1,000 risk-free bet scores me a total of $3,200.
There you go, guys. Tell Ed right there. Tell Dave. Tell Pony. Gamblers, make sure you sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. And remember, use the promo code right there. It's MoreWays1000. You're going to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy. It's legal. It is live. Take your winnings if you hit. Just get your money back if you don't. It's a mulligan, so you can do it all over again. All right, we're about a week and a half away, not even a week and a half, about 1 week away now from horse racing's most prestigious event, the Breeders' Cup World Championships. The horses run on November 6th and 7th at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. This year, you can bet on all the Breeders' Cup races right from your phone. Just download the FanDuel Racing app. And Dave, this is huge. We're very excited about this. We have a special promotion for the new users on the app. What is it?
It's funny that Pony mentioned the Irish Derby because there will be horses coming from Europe competing in Kentucky in this year's Breeders' Cup. Download the FanDuel Racing app. You'll get a 100% match bonus up to $50 on that first deposit. So if you've never played the horse races in your life, this would be a great time to see what it's all about.
No doubt. Bet the Breeders' Cup on FanDuel Racing right now. And we're excited because the Field of Ponies were just released. I know you were talking about that in the newsroom with me just before this show. I know you're excited about it. We're going to get to that later.
I'll give you a winner next week.
Tease in this business.
For sure.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. That's what I was looking for. That's it. That's it for us. It is week 8. We are here. Thanks for hanging with us today and watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win from our Los Angeles studios. We are back, everybody. Take our experts' tips. Make yourself some cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Again, free, easy, legal, live. Guys, thanks for hanging with us. You've been watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. Enjoy the games and good luck with your bets.
Friday, live from Keeneland. Join us for day 1 of Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, presented in part by Keeneland. Expert analysis of top contenders going through final preparations. Day 1 premieres early Friday morning, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
This November, the stands here won't be filled with screaming fans, but they'll still be shaking. Don't miss horse racing's ultimate international event, the Breeders' Cup World Championships from historic Keeneland. The whole world will be watching and wagering as the sport's greatest stars battle for 14 World Championship titles. So get ready for the Breeders' Cup, live November 6th and 7th.
Lawnmower 3.0 with advanced skin-safe technology.
Wow.
It's time! Get the official electric trimmer of the UFC at manscaped.com.
What's up, Colorado? Welcome to week 8 of the NFL season, and welcome into our LA studios. We're here, Dave. We're back. It feels so good.
The way it's meant to be. Took 8 weeks, but we're back in the LA studio.
Here we are, and here you are, watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. Thanks for hanging with us. He's the handicapper, Dave Weaver. I am your host, Lisa Kerney, and we are in our Los Angeles studio, getting you ready for all the action this weekend. And as always, the rest of our team of sports betting experts, they are ready to roll. Look at this great panel. They are here to help you make money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. It's so easy. You plug in that promo code MoreWays1000. You're going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. They're going to help you place it. It's easy. It's legal. It's fun. So let's get this party started. I'm ready. They're ready. You're ready. And Broncos fans, we are kicking things off right there in Denver with your Broncos hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Denver won 2 in a row before losing at Kansas City last week, while the Chargers are coming off their first win since week 1. Andrew Filipponi, the Broncos getting 3 points at home in this one. Can they cover?
Well, my wife's about 4 months pregnant, Lisa, and I'm going to start my kid's college fund with this pick because I love this game. I am all over Denver here. I think there's way too much Chargers love. You look at Denver's defense, they've only allowed 8 passing touchdowns all year. They sacked Mahomes 4 times on Sunday. I know they lost, but that had more to do with Drew Lock struggles I just don't believe that Herbert is going to go in there and light it up against Vic Fangio's defense. I'm getting points at home. Love the Broncos. I think I can put my kid into an Ivy League school maybe, Dave, with a pick here on the Broncos. What do you think?
I mean, at the very least, Slippery Rock or maybe Allegheny, two very good schools out there in Pennsylvania. But let's go for Yale or Harvard, because I think you're right. The Broncos get that college fund started. I think this is a great spot for them. Why are they an underdog in this game? 2 wins for the Chargers. You've got the Bengals they beat in week 1 and the Jaguars in week number 6 or week number 7 last week. So the Broncos have been playing the Steelers, the Titans, the Chiefs. I don't understand this line here, Pony. I think the Broncos should be favored in this game. They're going to win.
Pony, it seems to me that you're going to name your kid a week 8 here, Pony. Time now for the right take. Let's get out to Chicago, bring in our NFL expert, Cole Wright with Marquee Sports Network, formerly with NFL Network. Cole, you heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning by how many points there in Denver?
Well, Pony, might I recommend Erie Community College? It's not too far from you. It should be a nice little short drive. But winners of 2 of their last 3, Denver, well, they've gotten things done, and they've done it on defense. That's when their offense has scuffled. A top 10 in a number of defensive categories. And that lapse versus KC last week, they love to forget that. 43-16, that was to be as expected. But Denver's losses this season, they've come versus winners. Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City, just 4 losses between the quartet. But Justin Herbert, as we know, he is a special talent. He's on pace to toss for over 4,500 yards. That would be a rookie record as he would eclipse Andrew Luck. But let's not put the cart before the horse either way. I still think it's going to be a pretty big day for the former Oregon Duck at quarterback. Bolts, they're going to win this one, 28-21, Lisa.
All right, you know Broncos fans are sitting there going, Cole, I am tailing you. I am fading you, Cole. I am fading you. And if you roll with Denver Broncos fans and take those points, a winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $99. You're getting points at home. You're in a pretty good spot here at the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Time now to get to the Jets, 0-7 on the season. And on the road in a tough one, Dave, they're in Kansas City. They are taking on those Chiefs. This is a mismatch on the field. But take a look at the betting line here, Dave. The Jets are getting 19.5 points. It's almost 3 touchdowns in this one. What do you make of this matchup?
Well, I can understand why the line has to be what it is, because all year long people are just betting against the Jets, and at some point you have to throw up a big number. But historically speaking, these big lines are not covered by the favorite. I've only found a 19-point spread or higher. It's been as much as 27.5, by the way, back since 1978 when we started recording the lines at ProFootballResearch.com. And the thing is that these teams don't cover. It's 3 winners if you bet the favorite and 13 if you play the big underdog. So people think that there's going to be all this scoring from the Chiefs, but when you're favored by 3 touchdowns, you just want to run that clock, get the easy win. I think the Jets are going to cover.
Well, the guy in that graphic there, I think, is the difference in New York covering. If it were Joe Flacco starting, I'd take Kansas City. But Darnold is back. We've already seen KC lay an egg at home against the Raiders this year. I'll actually make a football argument where the Jets, believe it or not, are better than the Chiefs. And that's when New York runs the ball. Frank Gore averaged 5.5 yards a carry against the Bills last week. And Kansas City is 30th against the run this year. They have been weak. That controls clock. That slows the game down. That means it's harder for Kansas City to cover that big number. I'm taking the Jets.
Bit of an Achilles heel for sure there. Broncos fans, root against the Chiefs. My hometown Chiefs. You're going to make money doing it. If you bet on the Jets and take the points, 19.5 right now, you're going to collect more than $93 on a winning $50 bet. And you know how we roll. We are just getting started here on our Week 8 breakdowns. More game previews coming up in just a few minutes, including the Sunday night and Monday night games. We are talking primetime in just about 10 minutes. But first, we got to get to the guy that sets all these lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Joining me right now, the odds maker himself, John Sheeran. Sheeran, give us a peek at that book right here. Are there any betting trends this week that have you rethinking a specific line based on what you're getting?
I think the Steelers and Ravens is very, very interesting. We had this line more like 5.5 or 6, Lisa. We've seen about 3-1 ratio in favor of the Steelers in the early market. It's obviously been bet down from that 5.5 number down to where it sits right now at about 3.5 or so. We just really not sure why. The Ravens are coming off that bye. We know Harbaugh's 10-2 off that record. And this looks a really good spot for Baltimore. The Steelers does feel like a bit of a letdown spot for them. They obviously had a big game against Tennessee last week. we can see lots of reasons as to why Baltimore is the right side, particularly if you can get it anywhere around about a field goal.
Great perspective, Sharon. Thanks for that peek at the book. We'll talk to you again in a little bit. Of course, you can also place your bets on the app right now. So let's do that by putting some math to our money now with the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros. Ed, you just heard Sharon talking about that huge matchup in Baltimore. It's one of the lines that you think needs to be exposed this week. Why? What did the analytics say?
Well, first off, if you're dealing with a smaller line like Sheeran is referencing, and even though the Ravens may be more like a 5-6 point favorite looking at analytical models, that means it's a close game. It goes back and forth. And so the total should be over here. And even though both teams have good defenses, I think the offenses could shine here. Ben Roethlisberger, shortest time to throw of any quarterback at 2.29 seconds. It's led to a 67.9% completion percentage. That's good for seventh highest in football. Lamar Jackson is naturally going to have a longer average time to throw. He has it at 3 seconds, but he's also really mobile. He runs around a lot. And with that added time, he's got a longer average depth of target. And that matters here. Seventh longest at 9.4 yards. And his completion percentage over expected is outstanding. Second highest in football, just behind Russell Wilson. So you're pitting the dynamic Lamar Jackson against an undefeated Big Ben who should have Deontay Johnson in this matchup. I think this game gets into the 50s. I like the over.
Yeah, I like the under, fading you. I mean, they're both name-brand quarterbacks. You've cited the defenses are both ranked in the top 10 scoring defense numbers. But I think there's reason to think both quarterbacks will struggle. Lamar Jackson, his only game against Pittsburgh, his worst in the NFL, 3 interceptions. He was sacked 5 times. They've got the formula. And Roethlisberger's coming off his worst game of the year. Yes, he has all his weapons, but he got greedy. 3 interceptions against Tennessee. I could see him trying to do too much in this game, too. All that adds up to an under bet.
Tony, another bet that I think has some good value here is the Saints giving 4.5 on the road at Chicago, and both teams underwhelmed in their matchups last week, but the Saints have more reason for optimism here. Recently, Drew Brees has mastered the short throw, conducting a methodical passing game. His average depth of target is shallowest in all of the NFL at just 6 yards a throw. Not having Michael Thomas has been devastating, no doubt. His percentage share of teams' air yards over the last 3 seasons rank among the NFL's best. First last year, 16th in 2018, 5th in 2017. Michael Thomas in New Orleans, or it is nothing. Now, Chicago does have a similar relationship with Allen Robinson. He leads his team in target share at 28%. In fact, it's been that way over the last 2+ seasons. But Allen Robinson is in concussion protocol right now, so it's possible here the Bears may have to resort to Darnell Mooney or the octogenarian Jimmy Graham. I think the Saints cover here.
I'm going to fade you because this is the first time that the Saints have had to play outside. It's unthinkable in Week 8 to think that they've only played in domes, but that means they've had a lot of home cooking. They played 4 games already at home. Now they have to go into some windy conditions in Chicago. And even the games that the Saints have been winning, they've been squeaking by. Maybe they squeak by a field goal, but I don't think they're going to cover.
But, I mean, they do have the octogenarian there in Jimmy Graham. And fist bump because I knew you were bringing that hot on this show. Thank you for that. The Bears could be, though, again, without Allen Robinson, who's been in concussion protocol this week. They are getting points at home, though. So if you like Chicago in this spot, you're going to place a winning $50 bet, and you're going to collect more than $95. Remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out all the Week 8 lines available right now. And new users, be sure to use that promo code right there on your screen. More Ways 1000. When you sign up for your new account. And yes, let's take a moment for all of you new users. Welcome, Colorado. We are excited to have you with us, and we take care of our family, Dave. We take care of our friends. So we're going to take a little break here, break this whole thing down, get to our 101 segment. I call it a special fist bump for those of you that are new to sports betting. Dave, we've talked about spread, we've talked about money line wagers, talked about total bets as well. But it's kind of break that down. Tell everybody what those specifically are and give us your best for each here in Week 8.
All right, we'll use a different game for each of those examples, and we'll start with the spread. And let's go with the Broncos, who I like in this game to win. But because they're getting 3 points, I'm going to bet them on the spread. That means if they lose by 1 or lose by 2, you're still going to cash. If you like the Chargers, They're favored by 3, which means you have to win by 4 or more. I don't see that happening. It's kind of weird. The Broncos have a knack for losing by 2 points. For whatever reason, they lost by 2 3 times last year. They've already lost by 2 once this year. So just in case they lose by 1 or 2, I like to get the 3 points there. Now, the money line, no spread involved. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 100 points. You just need to win the game. And I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to do that. I'm a little bit weary of that 3.5-point spread. What if they only win by a field goal? It's okay, because you just need to win the game. But see where it says minus 200 there? That's the amount you have to risk to win 100. So you're betting 200 to win 100. I'm okay doing that. I like the Ravens. And then the total. You total up the points at the end of the game, both teams combined. Cincinnati and Tennessee, it's a big one, 53.5. But I think this game that could get into the 60s, perhaps. People don't think of Cincinnati as a good offensive team. They are. They've scored 30 points or more in half of their games. I think they're going to get the job done in putting up a good portion of the total. And, of course, Tennessee can score with the best of them. So give me the over.
You lay 112 to win 100, Dave. Thank you. That's very good stuff from Dave. Now, Colorado, you can do your thing. Plenty of spread, money line, total bets available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Also, I always mention this for those of you seasoned bettors as well. Found a ton of parlays, props, alternate lines available for those of you who've been at this a while. This party is open to everybody. Check it all out on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. And time now to talk daily fantasy, how you can turn just about $4 into $1 million. This is where I kind of like back up that truck. Enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com on the app right now. Of course, our job here on this show is to help you win that $1 million. So we're hooking you up with the best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel Editor-in-Chief JJ Zachariason in-house with his best values for Week 8. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa, my first value this week is Rashard Higgins of the Cleveland Browns, who's only $5,500. There's no OBJ in that lineup. He tore his ACL. He's done for the year. In comes Rashard Higgins, who had a 21% target share this past week. He caught 6 passes, 110 yards. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for this Browns offense moving forward, and he gets a plus matchup this week against Vegas. So I like Rashard Higgins at his price point of $5,500. And I also like Myles Gaskin, who's $5,700. We've got a new quarterback for Miami, so there is some volatility there, but Gaskin has seen almost 15% of Miami's targets this year, and over his last 4 games, he's seen over 71% of Miami's running back rushes. Those are really good numbers for a back that's priced at $5,700. And even though this matchup might look tough on paper, the Rams defense has been very average against opposing running backs in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed, so I like Gaskin at this price point. And then finally, there's T. Higgins. He's only $6,000. Since week 3, Higgins has seen a 20% target in this Cincinnati Bengals offense. He gets Tennessee, a plus matchup. I really like him and this scoring environment in that Bengals-Titans game. So play T. Higgins here in week 8.
Awesome insight, JJ. Thank you for that. And make sure to use JJ's info for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com. It's only about $4 to enter. There's a prize pool of $2.5 million. It's FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app. And, of course, there's even more money to be had. The Sunday Million is just one of many daily fantasy games offered at FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app. There are also a bunch of free DFS contests that you can enter right now. Just log on to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. Sign up for your chance to win cash, really great prizes. It's all for free with our daily contests available each week. And now is my favorite time in the show. It's time to pile them up and watch them pay. Let's bet some same-game parlays here, where you can combine multiple bets from one game. Check it out. The bet, really self-explanatory. You guys know how this goes. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet as you combine your wagers for the same games. The FanDuel Sportsbook are the first to offer this great feature for NFL wagers. It's smooth and it is so easy with us. And FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of the season. So guys, let's take advantage of that. Let's place those bets right now and get creative here. You've got $10. Give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. And Dave, you're first.
Well, we're going to go to windy Buffalo, where the Patriots come into town, and they are struggling offensively. They're going to need to run the ball against this Buffalo defense that cannot stop the run. That means there's going to be a lot of clock being eaten throughout this game. And the same thing for the other side. Buffalo's been struggling offensively. They're going to run the ball a lot against the Patriots. So what I see happening, low-scoring game early on. I'm betting the under in the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter. Combine those three, a $10 same-game parlay makes me close to $70.
Yeah, and let me just say, you'd be crazy to not take FanDuel up on this opportunity. $10 risk-free, wager a little to win a lot every week. I do it. I love it. And I'm going to this game here. Cleveland, Vegas. It's a tale of quarterbacks going in two different directions. Baker Mayfield, 5 touchdowns last week, 22 consecutive completions. And Derek Carr, I just don't think they can protect him in Vegas. He was sacked 3 times against Tampa Bay. And now here comes Myles Garrett in his league-leading 9 sacks. $10 risk-free to collect 54 on this bet.
Tennessee is still the second best team in the AFC as far as I'm concerned, and they are due for some positive regression to the mean against the Bengals. My model has Tennessee as more like a 7.5-point favorite, so that 5.5-point spread, more than okay as far as I'm concerned. But I will add away total points first half over 15.5. I think Ryan Tannehill is a little bit inspired and motivated to come out strong, so I will profit nearly $17 with my $10 bet.
There you go. Awesome stuff, guys. You can tail one of our guys or, hey, build your own same-game parlay. Have some fun. It's all there in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of a risk-free $10 bet waiting for you. Just click on the game that you like, hit the same-game parlay tab, and just watch your odds increase. Be creative and have some fun. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Now to the primetime games this week. I teased it, we deliver. We're starting with the Sunday night matchup. The Cowboys take on the Eagles in Philly. It's huge NFC East matchup here. The Eagles riding high after that last-second win against the Giants. Then you look at the Cowboys coming off a blowout loss in Washington. They lost quarterback Andy Dalton, who was already the backup, who's now in concussion protocol. So Dallas, realistically, Pony, could start with their rookie 7th-rounder under center. You got Ben DiNucci out of James Madison. Pony, Dallas is getting 8.5 points here on the road. What do you make of this matchup?
Well, I think that Dallas is bound to cover at some point. They're winless against the spread this year. This is a lot of points for a Philadelphia team that, frankly, I don't think deserves it. They can't protect Carson Wentz. They're 28th in sacks allowed. Wentz's numbers have suffered because of it. His passer rating has been over 91, which is about average, only one time this year. The Eagles' last 2 wins have been close games. Everything. This is a must-win for Dallas. So much, I think, is tied up into this game. I think they keep it close and cover.
All right, Cole, got to get you back in here for this one. You heard Pony's pick here. Which team do you have winning on Sunday night, and by how many points you think?
Well, Lisa, winning the NFC East this season is going to be like winning a beauty pageant that there was only one contestant in, because both of these teams right now are in an unbelievable mess. Dallas, they can take the division lead right here with a win on Sunday Night Football, despite a defense that couldn't stop a bloody nose. They're dead last in scoring, rushing, turnovers, and Mike Nolan at DC, well, we know he's had his struggles. That sums up their season. Meanwhile, Philly's defense, it's going to give them an edge in this one. They're just outside the top 10 in total defense, and Jim Schwartz and his unit, well, they found a way to apply pressure to opposing quarterbacks. They're tied for 4th in sacks, so I see Philly with a big-time win here, 21-10. You can book that one.
And there it is. Cowboys 0-6 against the spread this season. Thanks, Cole. Let's get to Monday night now. Tampa Bay heads to the Meadowlands to take on the G-Men. The Bucs made moves this week, signing wide receiver Antonio Brown. But if you haven't heard yet, he is not eligible to play until next week. The Giants' offense ranks in the bottom 5 in rushing, passing, and points. Dave, the Giants are getting 10.5 points here in this matchup. How are you betting it?
I don't think it's enough points. I think that Tom Brady is going to go in there and win this game very easily. He's the master of covering big spreads on the road. 5-0 against the spread the last 5 times that he has been favored by double digits on the road. And the way he does it, he dissects these secondaries early, opens up a big lead, and then just game manages late and just kind of runs out the clock. I know Cole likes to predict the final score. I'm going to predict the halftime score in this game is going to be 20-3. So I'm going to take them in the first half as well, and then they coast from there.
All right, there it is. Ed, got to get you back in here. Dave, I decided whether to tail or fade you earlier in the show. It is your turn to return the favor. Which side are you taking here?
I'm tailing Dave as well here. There's going to be some growing pains with Tom Brady and head coach Bruce Arians, rhythm quarterback versus a coach who wants to air it out. And I think that marriage is working out just fine. Tom Brady's average depth of target ranks 10th in the NFL at 8.5 yards. Last year, Jameis Winston was 2nd in this metric, while Brady was 23rd in New England. Now, perspective here, Daniel Jones is 30th in ADOT at 6.5 yards. And so if New York trails early, they are not catching up. Brady's completion percentage over expected, even without some of his key targets for some of the season, is 6.3. That's third highest in football, trailing only Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. And Jones is 28 in the same metric. To me, the conversation is not just if the Bucs are going to cover 10.5, but what should we do with an alternate spread? To me, I'm going to do minus 14.5 for a plus 145 payout. I'm feeling a little frisky here on this.
Yeah, I see that. Things are good in Dallas, Ed. Thank you. John Sheeran, coming back to you for some exclusive insight on the hottest bets at the sportsbook right now. Which teams are taking the most action here in Week 8?
Green Bay Packers, Lisa, it's all about them. 90 to 95% of the total money across the spread and the money line's been for Green Bay. And why wouldn't they? They're 5-1 this season, 5-1 against the spread as well. This, however, for us is a good spot to take Minnesota +7. The weather's a big concern for us. I think the Minnesota defense, we saw Zimmer's comments this week about the cornerbacks improving their play through the first 7 weeks of the season. So this is a dodgy line for us, and one that we're kind of happy for all of that public money to be on Green Bay. Expect the weather to play a part as well. 25-mile-an-hour winds has brought the total down almost 4 points, Lisa, but yet hasn't impacted the spread at all, and that's a little bit unusual to me. I expect to see that line dip underneath that touchdown and move towards Minnesota.
And to expand that a little bit, you told me 90% of that public money has been on Green Bay. Great stuff, Sharon, as always. Thank you. Let's give some underdogs a little love here. Of course, betting on an underdog to win outright is going to get you some great value, and with that, a great big payout. Cole, fist bump, my friend. You've been crushing these moneyline moneymakers. So, hey, who's on upset alert this week?
Well, Lisa, I don't want to pile on the Cleveland Browns because 2020, they've done that enough already, but that's what I'm going to do. They're 5-2, and that's only good enough for third place in the division, and I see some of those tough times will continuing this week. When it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr is averaging close to 100 more passing yards per game than Baker Mayfield, and I expect to see some of those numbers continue. Las Vegas, they're going to win this one at home, 24-17. And then on the flip side, last week I was 50-50 when it came to those underdog picks, and this week, well, I'm going to put my chips in the bucket of the Lions once again. They got the win over the Atlanta Falcons, and Detroit, well, they're going to do it versus the Indianapolis Colts this week again. Detroit, they've won 3 of their last 4, and they're just happy to be back at home. 66% of their games, Lisa, they've been away from Ford Field, so you can pencil them in for a win in this one, 24-21. Go ahead and get some of that money.
Yeah, you bet. My chicken scratch notes. I like that percentage. Cole, thank you. All right, gamblers, head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Take a look at the odds for each of those matchups. See if there's a money line bet that you like. You can tail Cole there or pick your own. And remember, picking an underdog means plus money, and we all like that. All right, you can make that moneyline bet or any bet on the app risk-free right now up to $1,000. All you have to do is sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 just by using the promo code right there. More ways, 1,000. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel's going to refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. And Ed, I gave Cole a virtual fist bump there. I'm going to give you a virtual high five, elbow bump, whatever it is. Last week you crushed it. Had the Packers alternate spread minus 11.5 at Houston. Your $1,000 risk-free bet collected $3,600. Golf clap. Thank you. Guys, let's do it again. Let's make some people some money. You've got $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet. Dave, you first. Where are you placing that bet?
It's going to be on the Broncos, and not to cover, but to win the game outright. The last 5 times they've been an underdog against the Chargers, they've actually won the game 3 times. So I think the odds are in their favor. They should be the favorite in this game, not the Chargers. So I'm going to take that plus 148 that John Sheeran is giving me. $1,000 gets me back close to $2,500.
Well, the Denver fans watching this saw Cam Newton struggle 2 weeks ago, and that carried over into the San Francisco game. I just refuse to believe that his career is over, and this is a watershed moment in his career. He needs this game against Buffalo. The Patriots need this game. New England's 4th against the run. Buffalo's 25th. $1,000 risk-free bet. You see it on the bottom of the screen. Is going to make you $2,600 on the Pats.
Brian Flores should be a Coach of the Year candidate, which means he knows how to handle his quarterback situation, and he's bringing in Tua Tagovailoa at a perfect opportunity. The Rams are 14th in EPA per drop back. They are due for some regression to the mean, especially when you consider short week, West Coast to East Coast. I think the Dolphins win this game outright, winning from 1 to 13 points. Total of $3,200 for my risk-free bet.
Yeah, look at that return on investment. Awesome stuff, guys. Gamblers, make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. Remember, new users, that promo code, again, more ways 1000. Get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. Easy, legal, live. Take your winnings if you hit. Get your money back. If you don't, you get to do it all over again. It's like the best mulligan in the business. All right, we have a few minutes left on this show. We want to get to the MVP odds, guys. You see them there on your screen. Russell Wilson's been the favorite all season long. Do you like Russ? Do you like what you're seeing from him, or is there a value play elsewhere? Dave, you start.
I'm going to go with Ben DiNucci. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. Last week, he was 32-1. He pulled off that miraculous win against Seahawks. Now he's only 17-1. He takes this team into the postseason. He's got a big shot at this award.
You stole it from Ed. He told everybody to bet that at the beginning of the year. Was a very smart play. I like Murray, too, because I think Seattle's actually going to finish last in the NFC West when it's all said and done.
Wow, that's some flamethrower in there. No, I'm big into Kyler Murray as well. It's got to be somebody who gets that 1 seed in the NFC or AFC to take the best payout.
Hey, Kyler Murray is figuring this thing out. All right, great stuff, guys. Those are your MVP odds. They're available on the Sportsbook app right now. And, hey, we are just about a week away from one of horse racing's most prestigious events, the Breeders' Cup World Championships. The horses run on November 6th and 7th at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. And this year, you can bet on all of the Breeders' Cup races right on your phone. Just download the FanDuel Racing app. And Dave, there's a special promo for new users. Fill us in on that.
Everybody has a FanDuel Sportsbook account. Everybody has that FanDuel Daily Fantasy account. Sign up for the FanDuel Racing account, and you can get a match bonus up to 100% on your first $50 that you deposit. Then you can use that money to bet on the Breeders' Cup November 6th and 7th, 2-day extravaganza. Huge pools, a lot of money to be made.
Again, that's the FanDuel Racing app. We're going to have much more on that, of course, next week right here on the show. And that'll do it for us. Hey, it's week 8. It's here. Thanks for hanging with us today and watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. Take our experts' tips and make yourself some money. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Download it now. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. He's Dave. I'm Lisa. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you right back here next week.
TVG Sunday night. $1 million on the line in the Golden State Million Futurity. Hit the ground running for gate-to-wire quarter horse action from Los Alamitos. Watch and wager Sunday night, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
Hey, neighbor, we got to talk. Well, Jay? No, he only comes to Bugle on race days. Race days? With the TVG app, every day is race day. You can place bets right in your phone, even stream live races.
Upcoming race at the Breeders' Cup.
I can have a day at the track whenever I want, right at home.
Coming through, guys.
Go get him, Mike.
Mike Smith?
Yeah, Mike Smith.
There's a new home of horse racing. Yours. Get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $250.
This November, the stands here won't be filled with screaming fans, but they'll still be shaking. Don't miss horse racing's ultimate international event, the Breeders' Cup World Championships from historic Keeneland. The whole world will be watching and wagering as the sport's greatest stars battle for 14 World Championship titles. So get ready for the Breeders' Cup, live November 6th and 7th.
Friday, live from Keeneland. Join us for day 1 of Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, presented in part by WinStar Farm. Expert analysis of top contenders going through final preparations. Day 1 premieres early Friday morning, 7 Eastern, 4